This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900. News is also brought to you by Desert View Hospital. You can count on us.
Thanks so much for joining us here on News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. It's Tuesday, May 17th, and congratulations to all of the College of Southern Nevada's recent graduates.
Also, Great Basin College. Well, the vote was 5-0. This move may cost millions of dollars to taxpayers, possible logjam into critical court hearings, drug testing problems, transportation hurdles, safety issues, and possibly even problems according to the district court staff. The Nye County Board of County Commissioners decided to move the 5th Judicial Courts effective immediately to another location during an agenda item today. This includes Pahrump and Tonopah. The problem is that there is no location for them to move to here in Pahrump just yet. The study was conducted to have the 250 building on Highway 160 completely remodeled to accommodate the two courts. The Tonopah court could move fairly sooner. The details of the move and the time frame are being discussed. This is all following a denial of the Nye County Commissioner Bruce Jabour's request to bring a weapon into the courthouse. The Nye County Commissioners make clear that the building is in fact not a courthouse, but instead belongs to Nye County, and they will make decisions who can bring weapons into the facility or not. Rather than allow the Nevada Supreme Court to make the decisions offered by the district court judges, they decided to evict the court and its staff. The Justice Court is not affected by this order. Justice Court reportedly owns part of the building that they occupy and have an officer and metal detector manning that area to ensure no weapons are brought into their courtroom. Judge Robert Lane put forth an order in 2010 ordering no weapons be allowed inside the building. This was following a shooting of a judge and a request from the Nevada Supreme Court asking that courts protect themselves and staff in the areas they occupy. It could take a long time for this item to resolve itself and build a facility where courts can operate on the heels of the pandemic and the backlog that caused. News 25 called each of the commissioners today to get a clarification this afternoon. Commissioner Leo Blundo was the lone commissioner who responded and declined to comment on this item.
In other local news, a Pahrump couple under arrest after barging into a local elementary school and reportedly assaulting a school employee, prompting a full school lockdown. Brad Francis tells us what happened.
Quanisha Torres and her husband Noah have been booked into the Nye County Detention Center as a result of an incident last Thursday, May 12th. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies were dispatched to J.G. Johnson Elementary School for a disturbance. While en route, dispatch advised that the couple was inside the school causing a disturbance. School employees told authorities the Torreses had come to the school to confront a juvenile student that their daughter was having issues with. Staff members told officers the couple walked toward the student's classroom with the principal right behind them, telling them to stop. They did not, and according to staff members, the Torreses entered a classroom full of students and began to threaten the students. The sheriff's office says a school employee began to film the incident with his phone to have a record of the way they were acting. An officer who watched that video says it shows Quanisha hit the man, then shows her husband Noah push him and threaten him by saying, "You touch her again, I will you up." Due to the couple's actions, J.G. Johnson Elementary went on a full lockdown until deputies arrived. Quanisha Torres and Noah Torres were placed under arrest and transported to jail, where each one was booked on one count of battery on a protected person and one count of creating a disturbance in a school building. Noah is also facing one count of intimidating a public official by threatening to harm the school district employee who was recording their actions.
Don't grab that remote. Much more local news after the break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of News 25 is brought to you by Dr. George Leaks, Pahrump's optometrist since 1990, offering full spectrum eye care for children and adults. Call today, 727-8300. News is also brought to you by Lisa Spahitz and Mike Plasmeyer at Country Financial Insurance. Auto, home, life, and commercial. 775-727-8920.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue crews responded to a unit that was inside an apartment complex that caught fire over the weekend.
We got a report of a structure fire on 1000 block of Bourbon. Engine 1 on location found a two-story multifamily dwelling. It was actually a fiveplex. Heavy fire and smoke showing from Division A, which is the front of the structure, and then there was fire blowing out of the kitchen and living room area on Division 1, which is the ground level floor. Engine 1 tagged a hydrant right 100 feet away from the structure. We stretched out our hand lines and then quickly extinguished the fire with a primary search and no findings. I had another Engine 5 additional crews. They searched for extension on the adjacent structure right next to it. No extension, and guys did a great job and a quick knockdown, and there was heavy damage on the first floor and second floor. It was an occupied structure. The occupants left around 11:30. The fire came out about 2:30 in the afternoon. Valley Electric showed up on scene right away. They did a great job. Fire was mostly contained to the first floor living room and kitchen area, and then it went up the stairwell up to the second floor, Division 2, and got a little bit part of the attic space and one of the bedrooms. The area origin is possibly in the kitchen. They had a third-party call, Red Cross, and Red Cross showed up, and they're being taken care of by Red Cross. It was 2 adult females and 2 children that were getting taken care of.
Fire investigators also say equipment failure is the likely cause of another fire this morning at Pahrump Valley Disposal's Metal Recycling Division on Mesquite Avenue. Pahrump Valley Fire Chief Scott Lewis explains what happened there.
We had an initial dispatch of a possible structure fire. As crews were responding, it was described as more of a large metal pile fire that had numerous exposures close by. We observed a dark-colored smoke plume in the area, so crews, went with full force and added additional apparatus on the assignment. There was hydrants in those areas, so that allowed us to bring our engines, which pump more than the tenders, which carry more. As Captain Moody arrived on location, he found heavy smoke showing from a large metal pile. He found that there was an immediate exposure of a hydraulically powered crusher that's used in the operation. And apparently the fire may have actually originated at that piece of equipment, most likely due to a mechanical failure in the spraying of some hydraulic fluid onto the debris pile. Debris pile then ignited. Crews did a great job. They laid a 5-inch supply line, which is a large diameter water supply, across Mesquite, thus closing that roadway down. They then commenced fire attack and quickly knocked down the main body of fire. Initially, there was no life safety issues, but toward the end, one of the workers who was present at the time of the fire started experiencing some respiratory problems, and so he was assessed and transported to the local hospital. It's so heavy, the material, and it's piled, almost 30 feet high. For us to simply move it by hand would take forever, so we used a front end loader, which has a large bucket on the front, move the material out as they displace it, then firefighters with their hand lines to cool the smoldering material.
And some good news now on the local front. Nye County Sheriff Sharon Worley has been battling cancer since she was diagnosed more than a year ago. And in a video released today on Facebook, Worley now says she is winning.
For those who don't know me, my name is Sharon Worley. I'm your current sheriff. In September, I promised you an update on my health. I completed chemotherapy 3 weeks ago and had a PET scan 2 weeks ago. I got the results 1 week ago, and thanks to great medical intervention, wellness, and prayer, my tests came back showing that the cancer is still shrinking. I feel good and have radically changed my diet, lost a lot of weight. Things are good. I wanted to thank everyone for their cards and prayers. Prayer's powerful. Please keep me in yours. Thank you.
It's nice to hear some good news. Well, the American Legion Post 22 in Pahrump is ready to serve up a special fundraiser this weekend. Post member Bruce Schoenberger says the organization, which helps local veterans, hopes to raise $2,000 with its rib extravaganza.
The rib extravaganza, yes, we have loin pork ribs, which are not spare ribs. These are meatier. They're all hand rubbed. We smoke them right there on the site. We're going to use hickory. We're going to have smoked macaroni and cheese with the dinner. And if you've never had smoked macaroni and cheese, this is the best. And then we'll also have some fresh homemade coleslaw without mayonnaise. It'll be very light and fluffy. We'll have hot dogs for $4. Hot dogs with fries, only $5. We're going to use the kosher style, the really good all-meat hot dogs. And we're getting the buns baked. So there'll be special baked buns. These are going to be nice hot dogs. And you'll have the topping of your choice. If you want sauerkraut, if you want chili, it'll be dogs the way you want them. We'll have a fruit cup, fresh fruit cup. We'll have chili cheese fries. And the chili was homemade, so we made the chili. The rib dinner is $12. And we can keep the prices down, although with the ribs, the cost of ribs, we had to, and it's partly a fundraiser, so bear with us. It's still a good price. But we're able to generate a little bit of money for the for Post 22 of here in Pahrump, which is the American Legion Post 22. What I challenge our community to do is come out and meet the veterans. You don't have to be a member. This Saturday, the event starts at 11 o'clock in the morning, and it will go through 2 o'clock, maybe a little bit later. We're going to do a 50-50 auction, and that will also, if you don't know what a 50-50 auction is, you buy a ticket, and if you win half the pot.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good cash prize. The rest of it goes into our fund that supports our veterans. We do another event every Wednesday, which is the Wings and Things, and we usually have a fresh meal. We start at 5 o'clock, and we have karaoke starting at 7:30. A lot of fun. And we're family oriented, at least for the most part.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I think they got you at smoked macaroni and cheese.
Smoked mac and cheese. And will you have beef ribs? I mean, those ribs sound delicious.
He says you can bring them by.
Oh, yes. Hey, I'll take it all. Barbecue. And we'll have more for you after the break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, in today's health news, it seems like there are new skincare products constantly being advertised on TV and online. But how do you know which ones to buy? We asked dermatologist Kiana Williams from Cleveland Clinic.
Some people are inherently a little more greasy. Some people are inherently a little bit more dry. Some people are, have more sensitive skin, while others can put anything on their face and skin and really have no issues. So it's important that people take that into consideration when they're looking for things.
Dr. Williams says it can be easy to get overwhelmed by skincare products. So her advice? Keep it simple. She says start by picking a gentle cleanser for your face, but be sure it does not have microbeads in it, as that can cause irritation and inflammation to your skin. However, if you did want to use an exfoliator, look for products that have ingredients like glycolic acid in them. Next, choose a moisturizer that fits your skin type. Some people, for example, may need one that is more hydrating. And finally, apply sunscreen daily. She says that is probably the most important step in your skincare routine.
Oftentimes, the SPF in makeup and other moisturizers isn't quite enough. Oftentimes it's chemical. I recommend SPF 30 or higher every single day of the year, even in the winter. And then if you know you're going to be out in the sun, golfing at the beach, whatever, SPF 50 or higher.
Dr. Williams says if you still feel unsure about what products are best or are having other skin issues, you should consult with a dermatologist.
All right, well, let's go to Doug Ferber with your sports.
Hello, sports fans. Coach Pete DeBoer is out in Vegas. And do you remember the old saying, you were in good hands? Well, the Las Vegas Aces seem to be in good hands with first-year coach Becky Hammond. The Las Vegas Aviators are atop the West, and things aren't always as they seem. We will look at athletes and mental health. I'm Doug Ferber. After not quite 3 seasons behind the bench, Golden Knight coach Pete DeBoer has been let go. GM Kelly McCrimmon made the announcement Monday. The 53-year-old DeBoer is one of 28 NHL coaches in history to have over 500 wins in his career. But after the Vegas franchise didn't make the playoffs for the first time in 5 years, you knew changes were coming. DeBoer leaves with a record of 98, 50, and 12, but the statistic of the Knights only scoring 18.6% of their power plays under his leadership just wasn't enough. A new coach hasn't been named, but stay tuned. The Las Vegas Aces are off to a 3-1 start under new head coach Becky Hammon. Last Friday, the Aces completed their 2-game Eastern trip, defeating the Atlanta Dream convincingly 96-73. Center Asia Wilson led a balanced attack with 15 for Vegas. Kelsey Plum, Rakrina Williams, and Chelsea Gray each added 14 points. Ari McDonald led all scorers for the Dream with 20 in her team's first loss of the 2022 season. The Aces host Phoenix tonight at the Michelob Ultra Arena at Mandalay Bay. The tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Speaking of the Aces, center Asia Wilson has been named the Western Conference Player of the Week. It is the 7th Player of the Week honor Wilson has collected in her 5-year career in the WNBA. Wilson leads the league in block shots with 3.75 per game, while averaging 11 rebounds and 15 points a game to lead the Aces, who are now 3-1 on the season. The Las Vegas Aviators split their 6-game homestand with the Salt Lake Bees this past week and are in Reno to take on the Aces beginning tonight. Sunday, the Aviators wrapped up with Salt Lake with an offensive onslaught led by fan favorite Sky Bolt, who was in Las Vegas on a rehab assignment from Oakland. Bolt hit a 2-run homer in the 6-run third for the Aviators. Bolt went 2 for 5 in the game. The Aviators are atop the Pacific Coast League West Division, 1 game up on Salt Lake and 2 games ahead of Reno heading into tonight. The first pitch is set for 6:35 p.m. As fans, we look at pro athletes and think, wow, they have it going on. What we don't know is that athletes are just like us. They put their shoes on 1 foot at a time. And in doing so, they also can suffer from mental health issues. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. I know what you're thinking. Millionaire athletes always could fall back on their millions. That's not the case. Just ask Las Vegas Aces stars Kelsey Plum, Raquina Williams, and Sydney Colson.
I mean, mental health is something that everyone deals with, whether they want to admit it publicly or not. I think for me personally, I've definitely had struggles with mental health, and the longer I live on this earth, I realize how important it is to speak your truth.
People tend to forget that we're not just athletes. I know it's sensitive and a touchy thing, but we're not just entertainers. Some people have some serious mental things going on that maybe they're scared to talk about.
Sometimes people can be at the highest point in their career and you think that everything is great, but they're struggling.
We all have pressure in our lives, whether we are athletes, fathers, mothers, sisters, or brothers. For whatever it's worth, never assume a friend or relative is okay. Reach out or make sure that your friend or family member know that you're there for them. Being there could save a life. For KPVM 25 TV Sports, I'm Doug Ferber.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
All right, let's take a look outside. And, out there earlier, it was nice. How does this compare to Southern California? You were there.
I know I was there and had a great time down there. Pretty similar. We'll find out more right after the break.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. Lovely to see you on a Taco Tuesday. And look at that weather map, man. Look at this. Look at that. 82 degrees up in Fernley. Fallon's got 84. Carson City and Tonopah tied at 80 degrees. That's the low mark in the state today. And everything below that, well, we're all under a fire watch this evening. No burning out in the yard. It's tender dry temperatures and the little bit of wind, boy, it really carries the spark, doesn't it? 82 degrees out in Goldfield, 92 in Beatty. Amargosa's got 95. Las Vegas winner chicken dinner at 98 degrees. and 105 out there in Death Valley. But here in the paradise of Pahrump, 91 degrees. Hey, check us out. 92 just a little bit earlier. Westerly winds rather, to 11 miles per hour all day long. Felt pretty good with all that heat as the sun rose this morning in all its glory. Hope and promise for a new day at 5:35. And it'll set this evening at 7:44. Look for it. It's going to be a gorgeous sunset. Beautiful star watching tonight as we head down to a low of 64 degrees. And tomorrow and the rest of the week, sunshine. Look at that, man. Oh, man. Lots of sunshine. Got a little bit of wind kicking up on Thursday and Friday. Going to take our temperatures down from the high 90s into the high 80s just for a couple days. Temperatures rebounding and returning with 10-mile-an-hour winds. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend. Clear skies, nice temperatures. Get out to the pool. Get yourself a glass of iced tea, and if you don't have a pool, have a friend with a pool. Good advice that my grandma told me once. Okay, back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
I love what you said. Like, it's almost 100, but the overnights are still good.
I know.
Right?
I'm living for the nighttime on that weather report. I got to tell you.
Yeah, and I live for the days. 98, I can take that.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of News 25. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unat Gentry. And from all of us here, thanks for joining us. And we'll see you on the other side of the news tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night.